Let's talk about Patrick. Now I know I promised you guys another top 10 worst Spongebob episodes list, and I'm currently working on it right now. But while working on it, I was reminded of this now infamous episode of Spongebob, and I decided to do a review on it because I really have a lot to say about this episode. Now this episode has gotten a lot of hate because of the mysterious Mr. Enter putting it on his top 10 Patrick's a Prick episodes list. And in that video, he criticizes this episode because it's the episode that confirms that Patrick isn't actually stupid and he's fully aware of the wrong he's doing. I've been hearing this argument a lot from my own fans as well since I left it off my top 10 worst SpongeBob episodes video, with some even going as far as to call this one of the worst SpongeBob episodes ever. So I guess it's time I take a look at it and tell you guys what I think of not just this episode, but of the character of Patrick. Now the episode The Card is about Patrick acquiring a rare card that SpongeBob wanted, and Patrick basically treats the card like shit, which drives SpongeBob insane. Honestly, the whole episode is just that. It's Patrick coming close countless times to destroying the card before SpongeBob prevents it from happening. Now a big issue I personally have with this episode is that Patrick is acting too stupid. I get it, yes, Patrick's an idiot, but he's never presented himself to be stupid enough to walk into a construction site and almost kill himself, and he's never been stupid enough to just walk aimlessly into Goo Lagoon. Now the episode does try to give him a reason for acting this stupid, but that reason is the biggest reason why people hate this episode so much.
Patrick, why did you just walk into Goo Lagoon?
SpongeBob, you can't always expect my usual brand of stupidity. I like to mix it up. Keep you on your toes.
Now, people have taken this line to mean that Patrick is doing everything he does deliberately, and as the mysterious Mr. Enter put it, this line basically affects the way the viewer sees Patrick, as now we know that Patrick torturing Gary and Pet Sitter Pat, constantly ruining SpongeBob and Squidward's lives, and being an all-around unlikable asshole is actually malicious intent and not the actions of him just being stupid. And while I agree it's true that Patrick might not actually be stupid, or he's at least self-aware that he's stupid, I don't consider this the episode that shows that, or at least not the one to have shown it first. If anything, I consider this episode the episode that confirms what was already obvious. Now what people seem to forget about Patrick is that he's always shown signs that he could either not actually be stupid, or could be aware he's stupid and using that as an excuse to cause harm. And they've been in both pre-movie and modern SpongeBob episodes before this episode came around. Now I can think of 2 pre-movie SpongeBob episodes that confirm that Patrick isn't actually stupid, or is just pretending to be stupid. And my evidence for both of these theories also came in the form of a line of dialogue, just like in The Card. In the episode Procrastination, SpongeBob calls Patrick to distract himself from writing a paper, and Patrick says this.
SpongeBob, you and I both know that you're just using me as a distraction so you don't have to write your essay.
Now one could argue that line has just as much of an effect as this line in The Card, confirming that Patrick might not actually be stupid. Patrick is fully aware of what SpongeBob is doing, and he's not falling for it. And if Patrick was as stupid as he's been presented to be, he wouldn't have known what SpongeBob was doing. Now, if you're gonna make the argument that the line from Procrastination was just for comedic effect and it had no bearing on Patrick's character at all, then the same could easily be said about this line from The Card, that it was just there for comedic effect and wasn't implying anything about Patrick's character. And in the case of this line from The Card proving Patrick at least knows he's stupid, there is a line in the episode I Had an Accident where Sandy and Patrick have this exchange.
Don't you have to be stupid somewhere else?
Not until 4.
This line not only confirms that Patrick knows he's an idiot, or at least knows that people think he's an idiot, but it also seems to confirm that Patrick is only stupid when he feels it's warranted to be stupid. By giving an actual time of where and when he's got to be stupid, it's almost like he's confirming that he views this as a job. Hell, that would also explain that line in Procrastination, where he doesn't even try to hide the fact that he knows exactly what SpongeBob is doing, and he's smart enough to see past his charade. He's off the clock. He's not supposed to be stupid at this time of night.
Holy cow! You just blew my mind!
Another example, one not as powerful, but still there, of Patrick showing how smart he actually is can be shown in Rockabye Belleville, where Patrick keeps leaving SpongeBob to look after their baby clam, while he claims to be going to work, only to go home and watch television while SpongeBob is left suffering. I mean, come on! He found a way to avoid any parental responsibility, and is just going home and enjoying himself. If that's not a maniacal genius, I don't know what is.
You know, it's not as easy as it looks.
And there's also a clip in SB129 where Patrick again shows how smart he truly is when SpongeBob mistakes Squidward choking on his clarinet as a sign that Squidward wants to play with them.
Ready to go?
No, I'm not ready to go.
He doesn't want to play with us.
No, Patrick, he's just not ready.
See, Patrick knew Squidward didn't want to join. He was smart enough to realize that from that line, but SpongeBob wasn't. So I think there's more than enough evidence in pre-movie SpongeBob that Patrick isn't actually stupid. And I think some of it is a lot more effective than that one line from the card is. But people have argued that pre-movie Patrick and modern Patrick aren't the same character, and that pre-movie Patrick is really just an idiot, while modern Patrick is actually a psychopath, and that it was that line in the card that confirmed modern Patrick to be just that. So let's take a look at modern Patrick and show the times where, again, Patrick had already shown that he wasn't really stupid before the card confirmed that. One example of Patrick being a bit smarter than people give him credit for comes from the episode Pat No Pay, where Patrick is not only smart enough to get a free meal from Mr. Krabs, yes, Mr. Krabs, but he's also smart enough to avoid doing any kind of real work to pay off his debt. Instead, he just destroys the restaurant. But again, he hides behind that shield of stupidity.
Can I eat now?
There's also hints of Patrick being incredibly manipulative in the episode Best Day Ever, where Patrick breaks his net twice and ends up taking SpongeBob's special net and hogging it so he can jellyfish. He actually breaks his net the second SpongeBob shows up, and when SpongeBob gives him a spare, he breaks that one too. And he does this when asking for SpongeBob's net.
Use this one?
Well, actually, Patrick, that's my brand new net.
Yeah?
Yeah, and keep this in mind. Patrick's never broken a net before this episode, yet he breaks 2 of them in less than a minute, and he does this the one time SpongeBob brings a net that's virtually unbreakable. So, you could argue that Patrick broke both of those nets deliberately so he could take SpongeBob's. He even pretends not to hear SpongeBob asking for his net back.
It's my turn now. I guess I'll see you at the concert.
And probably the most powerful example that I can find that modern Patrick could be smarter than people think he is in the episode The Lost Mattress, where Patrick figures out practically everything faster than SpongeBob. He figures out how to distract the guard worm, he figures out what Squidward was planning by calling them worm bait, and he figures out how they can save themselves from the guard worm when he sees how the guard worm reacts to a wooden spoon SpongeBob was holding.
Oh, SpongeBob, he likes your wooden spoon.
Huh? Wow, I think you're right, Patrick.
Honestly, I think the evidence has always been there that Patrick isn't actually stupid. And I think there's been a lot more damning evidence of this long before that line from the card ever came to be. Now, as for the episode itself, I don't think it's anything special. I think it's a pretty basic episode with little entertainment and not very many laughs. I think its writing is terrible, and I think it goes very overboard with trying to make Patrick look as stupid as possible. But if the absolute worst this episode could do is make Patrick stupider than he actually is, that's really not enough for me to say, yeah, this is one of the worst SpongeBob episodes ever. I wouldn't even put it in my top 30 worst SpongeBob episodes ever. And that line only confirmed what I felt was already obvious about Patrick going into this episode. So it doesn't hurt the episode at all for me. You can take any examples I've given that have all come from episodes that came before this one and draw the same conclusion about Patrick. That he's either not really stupid or is just pretending to be stupid. And practically everything he's done have been nothing less than the actions of a sociopathic genius that loves to watch people suffer. Thanks for watching, guys. If you like this video, leave a thumbs up. If you want to see more videos, click on either of these two links. And if you want to become a member of the Crystal Gem Posse, hit the subscribe button. And I'll see you in the next review.